So we're going to take this whole process, we're going to put it on a graph. It's going to show exactly what's happening inside each individual firm. So what do we need to figure out what an individual firm is going to do? Well, we're going to need their costs. We know the costs are going to be important because we need price equals marginal cost. We need their price, which is going to be important because they're using the price to determine how much to make. And we need to figure out how to use it. How can we actually maximize their profit? So we're going to start by just graphing the marginal cost. So I'm going to put marginal cost up on the graph. Now I'm going to, in this class, generally draw marginal cost like this, like a little J shape. You don't have to do that. If you want to draw it as a straight upward sloping line, totally fine. I like to draw it as a J shape because it sort of represents like, you know, at the very first couple of units, you do have declining marginal costs before they start coming back up. Totally optional though, do what you want. So we have this J-shaped marginal cost curve. And what does this say? This tells us at any given quantity, what is the marginal cost of producing one more unit, right? If I go right here, I can say, well, maybe that's a quantity of 20, follow it up. Oh, that's the marginal cost of producing that 20th unit once I've already made the 19. So now we're going to add in something new, which is average cost. Average cost is total cost divided by the quantity. In other words, it is the average amount we had to spend on getting one unit out the door, right? You take how much you spent in total, you average it over all the units that you make, and that gives you the average cost. So the average amount spent on each unit, and the reason why I'm going to bring it in is because it's going to help us figure out profit. And I'll show you why in a second. But I'll tell you for right now that we're going to bring it in, we're going to put it on the graph, and it's going to help us figure out what profit is on that graph. So here's how it looks. So it looks like a cup. It's got sort of a cup shape to it. And the point where they cross, notice it's at the very bottom of the cup. Okay? So the very minimum point of average cost, that's where it crosses with average cost. I'll probably be leaning on that for a while, but by the time we get to the midterm, I will take some points off if you don't do that. So don't like, you know, make them cross like up here or up here, right? It's got to be at least in the vicinity of the negative, of the minimum point. Why does it cross the minimum point? I think I explained that later. I don't. Why does it cross the minimum point? Well, marginal cost is how much additional cost you have every time you make another unit. Average cost is that cost averaged across everybody. So imagine that we're talking about how tall the average person is in this room, right? Before class, nobody's in the room, right? And let's imagine that we're walking in from shortest to tallest, right? Shortest person walks in the room, right? They're adding very little height to the room, right? And so whatever the average was before, it's going to come down, right? Somebody who comes in, who walks in, who's below average height, brings the average down. Next person comes in, they're still below average height. So they're still going to bring the average down. Another person below average height comes in, brings the average down. Another person below comes in, brings the average down, and so on and so on and so on and so on until they cross. Then, if the next person who walks in, the marginal height, right? If their height is above average, they're going to bring up the average. So immediately, the average cost, which was going down, down, down as shorter people walked in the room, now is going to start trending upwards as people who are taller than average start coming in, right? So that's why it's always going to hit at the minimum point of average cost, because over here, you only have below average things being added, then they cross, and then you only have above the average things being added. So the average goes down and then back up. All right, so we have graphed our costs. We have a graph with two lines on it. We have marginal cost, we have average cost. So the next thing we need to do is we need to put price on it. So price is determined by the demand curve, but this is not the same demand curve we've been working with, right? We've been working with this demand curve, which is downward sloping. It represents the market demand curve, right? From the market on the scale of a market, as the price changes, what changes about the quantity demand? Great. Except we're not working on the scale of the whole market. We're working from the point of view of one firm, right? And this firm doesn't have any control over the price. Whatever they do, no matter what quantity they set at, it's always going to be at the same price. They can't change it. They're not big enough to change it, right? And so from their point of view, the demand curve is completely flat. Think about why that is. If I sell a little bit, I can sell it at the price that the market sets. If I sell a lot, I can still only sell it at the price the market sets. If I sell in the middle, I can still only sell it at the price the market sets. So no matter what quantity I choose, I'm always facing the same price. So from my point of view as the individual seller, the demand curve is completely flat, even though the market demand curve is downward sloping, right? So we have the market demand and supply curve over here, supply and demand curve. That sets the price. Whatever price it sets, I can follow over, and then that's going to show me the completely flat demand curve that I feel like I'm seeing as the individual firm. Okay, so we've got the idea that we have a flat, completely flat demand curve. We're going to put that on our graph. So let's say I'll put it right here. We have a demand / price curve that is completely flat that determines what price we can sell at, the only price we can sell at, and then we can figure out from there. All right, so we have 3 curves. Let me reproduce what we have up on the board here. All right. So, given this, we want to figure out, we have all pieces in place, right? We have their costs, including their marginal costs. We have the benefits, right, in the form of the price, and we need to figure out how they're going to set those 2 things equal to each other. Okay. So we know what they're going to do. We already know their formula for profit maximizing, which is to set price equal to marginal cost. So that's what they're going to try to do. That's going to be their step for maximizing the profit. We know what the price is, right? It's given by that flat demand curve. We know what the marginal cost is. We drew it on the graph. Now we can sort of let the firm choose its profit maximizing quantity. And we already know how to find something like that, right? Because we have 2 lines. Price is represented by a line. Marginal cost is represented by a line. How do you solve those 2 things together? You just look for where they intersect, and then you're done. So we can just look for where the demand / price curve intersects with our marginal cost curve. And just as a reminder, I already mentioned this before, but the answer in this class to every graph question is always going to be where 2 lines intersect, right? Draw that on our graph over here. We want price equal to marginal cost. So we need to find where price is equal to marginal cost. It's right there. And that's going to give us our quantity. We'll call that Q star because that is the profit maximizing quantity for that individual firm. Right. So we've got our profit maximizing quantity. We have figured out, given the price, what quantity they're going to want to produce. And we can imagine how their quantity might change as the price went up or down, right? What would happen if prices dropped? Let's say price dropped down here. Well, we would just follow price along until we got to the marginal cost, and then this would be the new quantity, right? We could draw that out entirely to figure out in a pretty straightforward way, as the price changes, how does the quantity supply change, which again would be that individual firm's supply curve, which we would add up together with all the other firms' supply curves to get the market supply curve. Okay, so we have figured out how or what quantity is going to maximize our profit. We also might want to know what that profit is. How much profit are we making at that profit maximizing point? So now we're going to need to figure out, well, where's profit come from? We already have an equation for profit, right? You know, the profit is total revenue minus total cost. The problem is, neither of those things are on our graph. So we need to figure out what's going on there. And now the average cost is going to come in and play its role. So you don't need to memorize this. But what this is saying is that we take total revenue, that's price times quantity. We got that. We have total cost. I'm just going to turn that into quantity times average cost. That's the same thing, right? Because what are your total costs? Well, it's how much your costs were per unit times how many units you have. Right? That's your total cost. In the same way that how much money you made is how many units you sold times how much you sold each of them for. The cost that you spent on those is how many units you made times how much you spent on each one of them on average. Do a tiny amount of algebra to pull that Q out. So now I got Q times price minus average cost. That is our profit. This is the one you're going to want to memorize because we're going to be using that throughout the course. Okay. So profit is equal to quantity times, in parentheses, price minus average cost. What does this say? This is saying that your profit that you made is equal to how many units you sold times, on average, how much profit you made on each of them. Intuitively, that makes a lot of sense, right? How much profit did you make per unit times how many units did you make? That's your total profit. So why am I doing this whole rigmarole rather than just using total revenue minus total cost? Well, for one, as I mentioned, total revenue and total costs are not really on our graph in an easy way. For another, it gives us a couple of nice little shorthands. So for one, we can look at this and immediately know whether our profits are going to be positive or negative, right? Because quantity can't be negative. You can't make a negative quantity of something. But price minus average cost could be. So immediately, we're going to be able to say, hey, you know, if the price that is being offered right now is above our marginal cost, we're going to make a positive profit. Also, if the price is below the average cost that we have right now, well, that's going to be a negative profit. We're going to lose, not necessarily lose money, but we're going to lose relative to what we could be doing instead, where the opportunity costs are included. Further, if the price is the same as the average cost, then we're making zero profit. Which again, does not mean we're losing money. It just means that we are not making any more money than we could be doing something else. So we've got an easy way to calculate our profit that also shows us whether that profit is going to be positive or negative at a glance. The third thing that's nice about it is that it's just two numbers multiplied by each other, which means graphically, we're just going to be drawing a box, right? This is an area on our graph with a height and a width. So let's do that. Let's draw that box on our graph. So what are the sides of our box? Well, on one side we got Q, right? How many units are we selling? On the other side, we have price minus average cost. How much money, how much profit are we making on each unit on average? So let's draw those parts out. We have from 0 to Q, and that's the width of our box, right? Here's our profit maximizing quantity we determined before. There's Q, right? So this is the width of our box. It goes from 0 all the way to Q. Then we have price minus average cost. Where's the price? Right here. Where's the average cost? Well, we have to figure that out. We have our quantity. How do we figure out what the average cost is at a given quantity? Well, we plug it in. We take our quantity, we plug it into average cost. That gives us our average cost. This is our height of our box. And we have our profit box. And I keep saying the word box because I want to drill that into you, because it's very easy to get into the habit of like trying to like make it like follow the marginal cost curve. So it's like a point, like a little knife shape. No, that's wrong, right? Or like making it go all the way over here and then like weird, like curvy. No, it's always a box. It's got 4 right angles to it. If you haven't drawn 4 right angles, you've done it wrong in some way. Let's do that over here on our example so you can see it go step by step as well. So we're gonna, first of all, let's plug our quantity into our average cost, get our average cost value. Here's our quantity, plug it into our average cost. There is our average cost. Note, by the way, along the lines of my box comment, this is a straight line. It does not follow along the bottom of the average cost curve, although it's so tempting to make it do that, right? It feels like it should, but no, there's always going to be a little cut here that's not covered by the profit box. Because this is a straight line on the bottom of the box, and this is a curvy line, and straight lines and curvy lines do not match up. So we've drawn our average cost. Then we are going to want to fill in our box. We have a width of 20 from 0 to Q, and we have our price from price to average cost, and we can fill in this whole area, including underneath. Remember, it's a box, doesn't stop there, and that is our profit. Any questions at this point? Yeah.
So,
correct, yeah. Yeah, we got area, we got width, we got height, multiplied together, you get the box area. So I mentioned we'd be able to also know at a glance whether our profit's gonna be positive or negative, and we absolutely can, right? Because if the price is below average cost, we're losing money, right? Because this would be negative. If price is equal to average cost, then there's zero profit. We're no better off or worse off than we would be in some other industry. If price is above average cost, then we're making profit. We're doing better here than our opportunity costs would suggest. We can see this on the graph as well, because it turns out this intersection between marginal cost and average cost is going to sort of show us the point at which we go from positive profit to negative profit. And I want to emphasize as well, another tempting thing about this graph is to make the answer always go through this point, because it looks like it's an intersection there, and we know that the answers are always at intersections, but this particular intersection is rarely the answer. It's always some intersection, just not this one usually. But it does have some use, and the use that it has is that this is the zero profit point. If the price is right at that level, right, then we get zero profit. Why is that? Well, if we follow this price along, how can we maximize our profit? By setting this price to our marginal cost, which happens right there. And also at this point, at this quantity that I have chosen to maximize my profit, the price and the average cost are exactly the same. So price equals average cost means our profit is 0. So when the price is at that exact spot where these two cross, that's when we get 0 profit. Which means that as long as the price is above that point, we're making profit, right? So as long as the price is above this little cup at the bottom, we're going to make a profit, positive profit. If it's below that, we're going to lose profit, we're going to have negative profit. Have negative profit, that's probably a good indication that that business will shut down, go do something else instead.